Right, let's take you to the story now. A battle is on over the appointment of political staff in the city of Johannesburg. Last week, Mayor Mpho Phalatse announced that at least 130 staff members have been served with notices. Phalatse says their fixed-term contracts were illegally converted to permanent posts, but the ANC has hit back at the mayor. It says the city council cannot resolve to fire anyone and that the former mayoral committees were within their legal right to convert the contracts. Let's get a legal opinion now on the political staff appointments at the City of Johannesburg. Labour Relations Specialist Osborne Molatudi speaks to us now about this. Thank you very much for your time, Osborne. Now, for me, a lot of the employees that are allegedly going to be affected by this rescindment of the decision to give them permanent contracts are saying that legal was involved and human resources was involved. So is this not going to be a nightmare for the current executive mayor then?
Thank you, Master, and thank you for having me on your show. Good afternoon to your viewers. So indeed, I think it's one of those legal nightmares that is going to face the new municipality under the DA coalition going forward. However, one needs to first outline the relevant principles insofar as a review of appointments or promotions within an employer. And by starting by saying that the City of Johannesburg Municipal Council will be perfectly within its powers to review any of the appointments or promotions that may have been made, either now or then or even in the previous years, as long as it does so on the belief that some of those appointments or promotions were irrational and or were irregular. And once they've done that, then they will be perfectly within their rights to approach the Labour Court and to seek an appropriate declaratory order. My understanding, Masejo, is that as matters stand, what they have done now is to invite those affected employees to make representation as to why their conversion from being fixed-term employees into permanent employees should not be rescinded. And I think that's the stage where we are. I thank you.
Yeah, I understand that that is the stage that they are as the City of Johannesburg. And the other reasoning that they gave is that these were political appointments, that, for them it means that the loyalty of these employees lies with whichever executive was at the helm then. So is that reason enough to rescind someone's permanent employment?
I can't comment whether it's reason enough. But what is required of the employer, as matters stand, is to provide proof of anything it believes makes the appointments or promotions irregular. You will recall that the SABC went on the same legal process and, by challenging certain appointments and promotions that allegedly were made during the Motsweneng era. And SABC did succeed in some, did lose in others. So I would imagine this is a duplicate of that which the executive mayor, Honorable Mpho Phalatse, would want to achieve. But whether or not to say someone was a political appointee, whether that is enough, I think that let's leave that for the adjudicator. And in fact, for the time being, it is for the affected employees to respond and deal with that aspect, to say, no, you can't say my conversion was illegal because you deem it a political appointment. They may demonstrate in various ways that they are not members of the party that was in charge at the time, or even if they were loyal, they executed their duties and responsibilities effectively without, having any political tag on their head. So it's going to be interesting going forward, Masejo.
Absolutely interesting, especially for those of us who, believe that, once HR and legal is involved in converting my employment from a fixed contract to a permanent contract, I thought that it doesn't matter who comes in. But they are also saying that they believe that there was corruption involved and that this would come back to bite them if they didn't flag what they thought was corruption in the appointment or the permanent appointment of these staff.
Indeed, Masero. So you would imagine that the employer, under these circumstances, one of the issues that they would want to place forward is the issue of collusion. So as much as you may have had other departments involved, and it's the same dilemma that the SAPC had, and like I indicated, it succeeded in some, it didn't succeed in others there. So it may well be that even if there were other departments involved, and everything appeared to be above board in terms of the current allegation by the current municipal council, then those would be some of the issues that they'll bring forward to the affected employees. It's one thing to make a blanket allegation to say you're a political appointee, there was corruption involved, etc. I would imagine that the new municipal council did its homework. They have dug out, they have the evidence, like the SABC did. I mean, I happen to be involved in one of the matters. There were tons and tons of files that one has to sift through in order to assess whether or not the SAPC had a case. The same will apply to the City of Johannesburg in this instance. I may just highlight to you that one of the ways to avoid a costly legal process and litigation perhaps could be for the city to meet with the trade unions and to see how best they can regularize disappointments or promotions, because we're talking livelihoods here. So instead of terminating, they may say, why don't we sit together on the table and see how best we can regularize disappointments. Failing which, of course, the legal process will be an option for either party.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your insight. That was Labour Relations Specialist Osborne Molatudi on that issue.